All right, just waiting for it to pop up on Instagram. Hold on, fellas. There we go. Okay, let me go live here. And I will be popping back into Restream. So here we go. All right. Good morning, everyone. We are live. So testing out a new software. I'm using Restream today instead of StreamYard, and we'll see how this goes. Oh, hold on. Is someone here? There. Oh, wait. All right. You're popping in on two sides, Stan. So I got you. I'm gonna bounce you off on one then. All right.
Yes. If the audio is pretty bad on the phone, I can try audio on here, see if that's better.
All right. So I'm gonna kick you off on one.
Yeah.
All right.
And mine is not going to my YouTube.
Well, that's your fault then. You probably did something wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Connected it, but whatever.
Do you have to hit a go live on your side? Is there somewhere?
I don't know.
All right. Well, we are live. Trying Restream out. Joe's trying to stream on his channel. But yeah, good morning, everyone. I got Joe Farrell from Strive for 25. I got Stan back on. He's been traveling and doing all kinds of work. So good morning, man.
Good morning. Happy Thursday.
Yeah. What you guys been up to? Where'd you go again, Stan?
I just got back from Peru a couple weeks ago, and then got back from New York 2 days ago. So spent about a week in New York City, Philadelphia area.
Nice. All right, see, we got Jared here. Jared's doing some cool stuff, man. You got to go check out his YouTube channel also. But he's doing like rent by the room in Arizona. He's killing it. And I got Jason over here. Thanks, Jason. He's in Chicago. Cool, fellas. Thanks for stopping by. But yeah, today, our main topic, I don't know if you guys saw or had a chance to read it, but, Suze Orman she was on the Afford Anything podcast, I believe, with Paula Pant, and she was talking about how almost like 2 million is not enough to retire now. You kind of need 5 million to retire. And I think it kind of brought up an uproar. People were like, what are you talking about? So what do you guys think about that?
I think it really depends on the individual. I mean, it depends on where you live, what kind of living standard do you want. If someone lives in the middle of the country, Ohio range, and they have a house that's completely paid off, then I think that 2 million is plenty to retire off if they use it wisely. If they're still renting, living in the middle of New York City, that 2 million is probably going to last them 2 or 3 years. So it really just depends on what is your living standard, where do you live, what is your life situation at the time.
Yeah, the biggest thing I think that goes into the puzzle for me is what is the person's income, right? I mean, like my grandma is, I think, 88, 87, and she receives a railroad pension from my late grandpa, who, was 88 when he passed away. And, plus a portfolio and stocks and this and dividends and all this stuff. But we all know pensions, don't really exist anymore for the people that are retiring in the future. So what kind of income is somebody earning? Social Security is not enough. And I'm that type of person, that I can't just sit around all day and do nothing. Having a project, having something to be able to generate income on the side is something I think is what I plan to be doing that if I make it to retirement age. But if you're just drawing off investments for the income, that's only going to take you so far, and that changes the equation. If you've got income coming in, that also changes the equation. So I don't know. I think it just depends.
Yeah, cool. So Jared did put his channel in the chat, so I put it down on the screen. So REI Jared, so he's killing it out there. So go check him out. Morning, got BuzzTune here. I think he's still in Japan. I got Trade Better 99. I had a good talk with him yesterday. So we're gonna get him on the channel soon and bring him on some live soon. But a cool story. But yeah, man. So I mean, for me, a lot of it too, like you guys were talking about, it's really how can you plan for maybe when your final day is, right? So this money is supposed to last you a certain amount of time, and depending how much you want to withdraw and use, it's like in reality, people I think were upset that she said 2 million is nothing today, because a lot of people are they're living paycheck to paycheck or they're struggling, but I think you kind of have to look at 2 million is not going to last you in where we're at today, right? Especially with
Hmm.
everything rising, taxes, inflation. So you really, I think you really got to look at it, how much, like you're saying, how much money you're bringing in, right? How much it's generating, or, what are you doing? Even if you do retire, right? Like, how are you leveling up to continue to grow? So you have that money keep growing and to use. So that's the way I'm looking at it. And I think a lot of people were offended. They were hurt when she said, 2 million is like nothing today. But in reality, it kind of, it will put you in a bad spot, I think.
I think it really depends on how much can you control your own spending. Usually, people talk about retirement. They're talking about using something called the 4% rule, which the idea behind that is you have your entire investment portfolio. You withdraw 4% of that total portfolio every single year. As long as your portfolio is growing at an average rate, say 7 to 9% annually. So if you have something like index funds, the idea is you are able to withdraw 4% annually, but the growth of that portfolio is going to bring that 4% back and then some. So as long as you're only withdrawing 4%, that way you can essentially turn that into an annuity for yourself, constantly withdraw and constantly have it replenished so you can use it infinitely. At $2 million, if that's what you have inside your retirement account, and you withdraw 4% of that, that gives you $80,000 annually. By today's market, if you have a house that's completely paid off, uh, $80,000, depending on where you live, once again, it can definitely go for like. I'm not saying it's going to provide you a luxurious lifestyle, but you should be able to live comfortably off $80,000 if your biggest expense, your housing, is already completely paid off. There's other ways you can do. One popular method is geo arbitrage. So you take your money, you go live somewhere else that's got a much lower cost of living. South America is very popular right now for that. Southeast Asia is very popular for that right now. But that $80,000 in those regions, all of a sudden that stretches much, much, much further. So if you know what you're doing and you have a set plan, you have many, many options. But that $2 million at retirement does provide you enough options. It's not going to provide you a luxurious lifestyle living in the middle of Manhattan or in the middle of Paris, but it'll provide you a comfortable lifestyle living in many other places around the country or around the world.
Totally agree. So Jared, yeah, man, your channel's awesome. So anyone else just popping in,
Yeah,
go check back through the
I just
comments and check out
subscribed
Jared.
to
You
his channel.
subscribed?
Yeah, yeah. I guess where he's at now.
Yeah. What did he?
501.
Oh,
He's
there
got
you go,
9 more
Jared.
than you, Mark. 9. He's got 9 ahead of
Yeah,
you.
I
How's that feel?
know. Well, we're working on that. I got Dennis here, who's in Florida. No, is he in Florida? I forget. Dirty. He doesn't like me, I think, because I make fun of people. He says I'm mean, but he,
I, if you were nice, I wouldn't be here.
I
It'd be
know.
boring.
He's like, Mark is an ass. Because I think I made fun of someone had AOL in one of our. Oh, Frank. Frank had AOL email.
Of course he does. Come
And
on
that's
now.
why. And then Dennis said that you're an ass, but you're funny. But yeah, so Trade Better 99 says he has a feeling that anyone that has followed Susie just loses money. Um,
Same thing with like
oh, have
Kramer
you ever had that
or
feeling? Hmm. Yeah. Oh, we got PE turn RE popping by first live. Thanks for stopping by, man. E has a good YouTube channel also. He's a PE teacher doing real estate. I believe in
oh,
the Washington area, kind of Dion's area. So go check out his YouTube channel too, man. He's
cool,
doing some cool stuff out there. Doing a lot of lives, I think, like short lives. But yeah, go check him out.
cool.
But thanks for stopping by, man. But yeah,
I,
has any of you really followed Susie quite a bit and in your journey, in your financial journey?
I listen to her a little bit, but I listen to Dave Ramsey more often. And I know from what I'm told, their mindsets and their advice is very, very similar between Orman and Ramsey. I think uh, I think they give solid advice from everything I've heard. I mean, it's not like it's a lot of the advice they give is contrary to what I personally do. I know, for example, Dave Ramsey, he's completely against taking out any kind of mortgage. He thinks that if you want to buy real estate, for example, you should be able to buy the real estate in all cash, or you shouldn't get it at all. That's contrary to what I do. I'm completely comfortable with financing, but for the majority of people, they give very solid advice. It's pay off all your debt, live within your means, uh, put a certain percentage away towards investments, towards retirement. If majority of people listen to them, I don't think they're going to lose money. They may not. It's one of those very low risk advice, but it's still going to be a solid output. So it might not be advice to really hit you into the upper echelon of wealth, but it's going to be great advice to get you into a comfortable lifestyle at least. And I think that is awesome.
Yeah, so you're talking about geo arbitrage also earlier, and
Yeah.
I did have a post on X that got a lot of people, a lot of impressions and all that. So there was actually an article, I think it was Business Insider, but they were talking about like it's like a almost like a stay for a while program in certain areas, and it was like Mississippi County, Arkansas is offering $50,000 to both locals and out of towners, and the only catch is you have to stay there for at least 4 years. And
Okay.
so it's like some people are like, oh man, that's like, $1,000 a month you're getting. And there's some that are like, you're not getting me to move to this hellhole of a place there. So but yeah, there's towns out there offering people money to relocate there to help these cities grow and improve. But I guess that's what it comes down to, like you were talking about earlier. 80,000 can go a long way in some places, right?
Oh,
But
absolutely.
so it just depends also to what kind of lifestyle you want. There's Mr. AOL himself, Frank Contreras, old guy REI stopping by. Thanks, man. But yeah, old guy REI, go check his channel is cool too, man. He has the van confessions. So I love that. He does like little short clips because he's a contractor also. So he does videos from his van, but he's killing it also. And he's going to start doing some stuff on Zuber's school community. So go check out his channel too, man. You going to geo arbitrage, Joel?
Not anytime soon.
Well, you already got low cost of living over there, right?
Yeah, yeah. St. Louis is pretty cheap. I mean, like talking about how long will dollars or a million or 80 or whatever the amount of money will last. Like I was talking to somebody today who is a veteran, has VA disability coming in for like I don't know $1,800, and that's it. And he's gonna buy a house and buy a house at a very certain price range that makes sense. And I mean, it's enough for him to survive. It's just which is crazy. I don't know how, but I mean, that's that. I always kind of gone back to social media. We're here on YouTube or Instagram Live, and it's like the people that are on these platforms that may be receiving this information are going to be probably different than the people who aren't on social media who probably need to hear more of this information, but just in a different place, and maybe don't believe that it's possible. But you have kind of these different levels of what someone believes in terms of wealth and what you need to have and et cetera. So I don't know. It's just interesting to see Suze Orman, Ramsey versus people like us that have just a different belief system, I think.
Yeah, it's super cool too. I think the big thing, and we always talk about it. So I mean, it's kind of like the same message we keep saying, but I think it's really your circle. Like all these people popping in. We got Mandy popping in. She's in Pittsburgh. I met her through social media. But all these people that in your circle, right, that are just kind of doers, right? They're not just sitting back, letting retirement come, and they're planning, they're preparing, because they don't want to be kind of living a scarcity lifestyle during retirement. They want to be enjoying, right, and traveling and
Mm-hmm.
spending money. So all these people in the comments are, they're doing different things, and that's what's cool too. Because like even like Frank, he has his Wednesday Zooms, and we pop in, and there's people doing all different things. So like I said, Jared, he's doing rent by the room, and nobody else is really doing that, but everyone is interested. They're trying to pick his brain. Hey, this scenario. What about this? And it's just, we talk about velocity banking, infinite banking. So there's just people that are doing different things, and that's why it's important to be in these different rooms. Maybe you're not going to do it, but it just has you thinking differently. So I think that's super. And BuzzTune, yeah, this group is like Cheers. I don't know if you guys know it. Some young folks may not know what Cheers is, but it's one of my favorite TV shows. But it's where everyone knows your name, and that's where I got the wingnut analogy from.
I
Yeah,
remember that show. It was on Nick and Night all the time when I
you
was growing up.
remember that show?
Oh, by the time I was watching, it was on syndication already. But it was on like right at the same time. I Love Lucy, Bewitched, all those old shows they put on Nick at Night when in the '90s.
Well, Frank grew up with I Love Lucy and all that stuff. That's like his age or his generation. Oh yeah, so Jared, rent by room and velocity banking combo for him. So yeah, see, like people are doing different things, and that's what, and like Stan's doing short term rentals, right? And then you connected with Matt and Ned through his lives, and I don't know if they told you, Stan, Matt and Ned met up. So I think they're waiting to meet up with you in your, but they drove around, looked at some of Ned's properties and stuff. So
Yeah, I'm still in contact with them just because they live in the same area as me. It's just for the last week I've been traveling. I finally got back home 2 days ago, so now just trying to find a little bit of time to meet up with everyone. Uh, you were mentioning early infinite banking. That's actually another. Uh, Later on tonight, I have a conference. I'm still a board member at the New Orleans Real Estate Investors Association. Tonight we have a speaker that's going to talk about infinite banking. That's going to be our monthly presenter tonight. I got to meet him on a investor cruise that I went to last year, so it's definitely a cool concept. But yeah, there's many ways out there to achieve success, to achieve comfort, to essentially create whatever lifestyle you want for yourself. As soon as you identify the lifestyle that you want, it's just about identifying the choice you need to make in order to achieve that lifestyle. And I think that's the big thing I want more people to take away. You can have anything in life that you want, but you can't have everything in life that you want. Uh, if you make some choices, they're going to bring you towards one path, but probably away from another path. So it's up to you to identify what do you actually want in life. There's really no wrong answers. If someone wants to accumulate all the money they could possibly need for the rest of their life, awesome, go for it. It's going to probably take up a lot of time and energy, so you might not be able to do other things that you want. If you want to have a family, make the choice that bring you towards that route. If you want to travel, make the choice that bring you towards that route. Just identify the route you want to go and make choices that bring you further down that specific route. And just be cognizant of the fact that once you're making those choices, it might cost you other things, but it's just a trade off that you have to accept at some point.
yeah, so we have our first Croc reference in the comments. So for all you new people checking it out today, I love Crocs. I wear Crocs, and people, Sierra folks, keep giving me shit about it. So if you're new here, give a smash or pass in the comment section. If is Crocs a smash or pass? And we're also gonna do a Crocs on the strip next year in Vegas. A smash or pass on the board in the boardwalk in Vegas, and do some live videos if Crocs are smash or pass. But yeah, if you're new here, comment smash or pass for Crocs. But but yeah, man, I totally agree. So that brings me to kind of like my situation. So I have a pension, right, in the fire department, and that's something that kind of what's going to be my plan, right, at the time that I do step away. Do I take like a cash value of the pension up front, or do I just have that drip for the rest of my life, right? Like, do I? So what happens if I pass away, though, right? Like, 1 year after I retire, that pension is basically been wasted in a sense, right? Or do I take a penalty, take it up front, and now do something with that to hopefully grow? So that's something I gotta start looking into a little bit deeper to what my plans are. As of right now, I'm probably gonna take a big lump sum payment up front, and then just probably hopefully invest that into real estate, and then that way build kind of my own pension through a real estate property. So that's my plan. But
Yeah, it's I don't get a pension in my work. We just have a 401k, but I've got a similar plan in terms of using real estate in order to fund retirement and kind of transition towards that as a primary revenue source in 10 years down the road, 20 years down the road, and then transition that further into a primary retirement funding source. I mean, with real estate, it's one of those things where it's not going to make you rich quick. It'll make you rich, but you have to be patient. It's a lot of people get into real estate expecting to be millionaires in a year or two. I mean, if you stick at it, yeah, you'll probably be a millionaire. It might take you 10, 20 years, but you'll get there. The only question is, are you willing to put in the consistent work for 20 years in order to get to that eventual end goal? Some people they want to, some people don't, and either way, there's no wrong answer. If you put 20 years in, yeah, it's 20 years of hard work. It's 20 years of making your life intentionally more difficult. You do have to take additional phone calls. You do have to take accountability for additional properties, keeping them in proper order. You do have to take additional phone calls from tenants who need certain things. You have to do additional work, such as finding new tenants when needed on what normally could be your days off. So it's 20 years of work with a payoff at that 10 or 20-year mark. But the payoff is usually there if you are willing and able to keep at it. But it's definitely not something that's going to make you rich quick.
Jared also comments, can he be Norm from Cheers? I guess that's Jared's favorite guy.
Well, the wingnut is Cliff, right? Is that
Wingnut is
right?
Cliff. Yeah, he's the postman. Yeah, yeah. RWO Equity asks, what is your thoughts on credit cards? Are they smash or pass? What do you guys think about credit cards?
I go smash if you use them correctly.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to put a lot of debt onto it and then just pay the minimum balance every month, then yeah, don't do that. That's a very easy way to get into a lot of trouble very, very quickly. But if you just use your credit card for things that you normally would purchase anyway, it's a great way to get additional bonuses. I mean, I use my credit card all the time. Every single thing I ever buy, it goes on a credit card. But my credit card balance is paid off in full at the end of each month. I never pay interest. But it gives me a lot of airline miles, and I get to use those airline miles to fly a lot more often than I probably would otherwise.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got a Fidelity credit card. Actually, I have a couple of Fidelity credit cards. 2% cash back on all purchases. Nothing. There's no, gimmicks. It's just 2% back. Goes into a trading account. So I just dollar cost average into S&P and get some dividends along the way. And
well,
it's great.
Joel,
It's great for business owners.
Yeah, let me ask you this then, and maybe you can't, from a professional side, you can't speak on it, but you see a lot of people's finances in a sense being a lender. Do you think credit cards kind of holds people back in a sense when you look at, they're holding balances, a lot of them, or whatnot?
It definitely comes into play for sure. And I think the biggest mistake that I see is somebody that maybe fear the fear of having credit. And so like I see people that have no credit cards, and that's probably, I think, a bigger issue than having too much credit. Because too much credit, I mean, you can work on that, or you can, but the belief of not being able, not wanting to have your money in a bank, not wanting to have credit, I mean, it just keeps you in this little bubble, which it can be fine for somebody. But somebody that's earlier on in their journey, and let's say that they don't have the credit limits that somebody may have later on in their journey with more history. So somebody may have a credit card that's got $1,000 limit, and they're maybe spending $700 a month, and they pay it off in full, and they think they're doing great. If you have 3 of those, and every time the accounts show to the bureaus a $700 balance on a $1,000 limit, that utilization factor is too high, and they may have a score that's not where they want it to be. Maybe it's the 500s, maybe it's the low 600s, et cetera. And it's like, okay, well, I'm paying it off every month. Why are they doing that? Well, it's all about the utilization. So those people, okay, maybe you need to open up a couple more credit cards, or ask your lender or your bank to increase the limit, and use the same dollar amount and just spread it over a few more cards, and then boom, their scores jump right away. So I think that's in terms of being able to make quick fixes on credit, that's the biggest thing, is just paying down credit cards to say 30% utilization, and that's going to typically have a pretty positive, quick impact.
I think the big issue I have with credit cards is you're just kind of given a credit card. You're not really taught on the benefits or how to use it, or even like you're talking about credit utilization, or even having access to credit, right? Because there's a lot of people that they think, oh, it's better for me to close a credit card because I'm not using it anymore, when they should just keep that credit available, and have the years build up on it, right? But we're not taught this, right? A lot of people, they get a card and they're like, oh, I don't use this card. I'm afraid I'm going to use it, so I'm going to cut it up and cancel it and be done with it. But actually, you should keep it open, right? Yeah, you can still cut it up so you don't use it, but keep that credit available, right? So it shows up for you. And those are just things we don't learn, or nobody teaches us these things, right? They just say, hey, here's your card, go buy something now, right? And they don't tell you anything about it. But, I also want to mention, like I said, I shout out Jared's YouTube channel, PE turn RE, old guy REI. But I never shouted out your channel, Joe. So we have a lot of new followers probably in the comments today.
Yeah.
So everyone in the comments, go check out Joe's YouTube, Strive for 25 on YouTube. Go give him back a follow. He has some cool stuff. And maybe he might interview you too. He has a podcast, so he might bring some of you on. So go check it out.
And just because of talking about this, the 25 people don't know what that is, and I need to do a better job of really explaining that. But the platform, it's all about, hey, how do you get yourself into a position to be able to invest? So it's increase income, the goal to save 25% of your income, and then have options to invest. That's what the platform is all about. And in the middle, and Stan is going to be one of our guests on our new mini series that's going to be coming out in mid July. I think is what we're going to be doing. 100 stories of increasing income. So 100 different stories of people with a side hustle or a side business. And Stan's is going to be on the real estate side of things. So
I don't know. Are you able to put your chat? Because Jared's asking Strive for 25.
I mean, if you just Google Strive for 25, everything will pop up. But I can.
There's Strive 425. That's not. Is that one of? Because I know you have like 5 things.
Strive
He says.
for.
BuzzTune says I can get used to not tipping, paying half for my meals, and great customer service. So he's not in America apparently, but can see parts outside of Tokyo having a tough time. Walked in outlet mall and it was empty. So yeah, so he's in Japan right now. So yeah, he's loving it. So he's kind of test running it a little bit because his girlfriend lives in Japan. So he's there. He's been there for a couple weeks now. But he can't get it. What is that, Stan?
I'll be heading there in October.
Oh, cool, man. Yeah. I don't know how often BuzzTune is going to be heading out there. But I know a lot of F.I.R.E guys, and I don't know how they're doing it. I got to dig deeper in, but they are buying properties there. So I have a retired captain that just bought 2 properties. So a lot of them are buying. Yeah.
Interesting.
Because they go skiing a lot. So instead of having to always bring their ski gear, they have a place there, and then there's like four retired captains. They all just leave their stuff there. Yeah.
Looked into buying international real estate sometime in the future. Mostly areas I'm looking at Southeast Asia. I know they're very, very protective of their real estate in that area, where in order to buy property or buy land, you have to be a natural citizen or natural resident of that country. I know that's the case in the Philippines, where if you're not from the Philippines, you can only buy a condo, and you can only buy a condo unit there if the population of the condo is a certain percentage of natural Filipinos already. So it's like the cost of it is substantially lower than you would see in the United States. So it's a great opportunity, and it's a great place to geo arbitrage as well. But you definitely have to do the research ahead of time to see what you can and can't do when you start investing internationally in that way.
Ned Talks is here, so everyone go check out his YouTube channel. Also, he just hit his 50 subscribers, so he's gonna start doing some live videos. Stan might pop in on those too. Now he wants to go walk some properties in New Orleans. Hey, but if anyone in the comments, if you can do me a favor, can you go check Instagram and just let me know if this live stream is showing up there?
It was for me.
Oh, it is? Okay, perfect. Yeah, I'm testing it out. But so Ned, let's see what Ned says. I didn't even Ned. See, he has 12 credit cards, right? 829, credit. Yep, it's a game, right? It's just another tool, right? But a lot of us were just not taught what the game is, and we're taught like, oh, just cut it up if you don't use it, cancel it. You don't want to have access to it, but in reality, it actually lowers your credit score, right? When you cancel it and you have less credit available. So yeah, and he said if you be responsible, like Cody is in Wisconsin, and he does a lot of travel hacking with his credit card. So I believe him and the family, and Cody's a big dude, and he got to fly first class to Hawaii, his family. And I'm like, yeah, you ain't riding in coach, man. There's no way you ain't fitting back there, buddy. So you better figure it out. But yeah, he flew first class. So, yep.
I want to add something onto the credit card part of it too. There's some banks out there that are offering business credit cards, 0% for 12 months. And it's another kind of lane to be aware of if you've got an LLC. And by being in a business name, it means it's not going to show up on your personal credit report, your personal utilization. So I've seen people use those, especially like, I think you met Parker Biederer, somebody that I've had on my channel, and he's on the Amazon drop shipping arbitrage level. And, he's mentioned that, but I saw a company charge thousands and thousands of dollars to help business owners connect with some of these business entities, these banks, to be able to open up these credit cards. It's like you can just go to the bank directly and get these set up and get a couple of them at a time, and they're charging thousands of dollars to like be the intermediary. And it's like, man, that's crazy.
Well,
It's a,
it's not as easy to get. So, I mean, there is ways to get business credit cards without an LLC, but there's also you have to also look at what type of business credit card it is because some are still you're still guaranteeing it, so it's still under your personal name. So it is a business card, but it still goes back to your personal credit. But as you start building up your business account, so that's why it's good to have like bank accounts, and then you start doing like Jared mentioned, there's net 30 accounts like vendors, like Home Depot. I forgot some other them, but there's business net 30 accounts where you can buy stuff, pay it in the 30 days, and it starts building up your business credit score on shoot, I can't even think of the name right now, like Duns and Bradstreet. So you build up your business score, and then when you go apply for the business credit card, you can get bigger credit lines, but those are not associated to your personal credit. Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, it's just the same thing, right? It's another tool. Sorry, Stan, I cut you off. You were going to say something though.
that's not a problem. I was just saying that we used the business credit card for our business. It was really easy to set up. We went to the bank, just opened up a business account, same business account. They gave us a credit card as well, and we've been using that for the same reason. We built up our own personal credit score. I want to build up the business score as well, because if we want to make that jump into from residential properties into commercial grade properties, then we need a business entity with a score in order to start going after commercial properties, because typically it's much harder to get banks to loan commercial loans to a personal. You need that business entity for them to loan to. So it's an option to really build up that business score in order to make that path easier.
Yeah, so Jared mentions Granger. Yeah, Granger is one of those good net 30 accounts. There's a lot of gas cards, so if you use your vehicle, you have a gas card that they report. So yeah, just another tool out there where you build up your business side, and then you start getting access to these other type of funding. And a lot of times they're not associated to your personal side, so it's not going to affect your credit score that way. But yeah, so he said Bank of America does 0%, PNC, but yeah, there's tons of
Yeah.
access out there.
Yeah.
But
Truist is a big
yeah,
one.
We used Capital One for ours, and same thing. It was 0% for 12 months.
yeah,
And
cool.
it's like you were saying earlier, we're just not taught all these tools. I know in high school and in college, for me personally, our financial education, our business education, our just general investment education, both high school and college, they were, to put it very nicely, subpar. I think I had to take a half a semester of business education in high school, which all that did was go over the very, very basics of buy low, sell high. There's
Yeah,
no such thing as a free lunch. If you knew those two facts, you probably passed every single quiz they ever gave me in that class. Then I got to college, and there was no financial literacy education requirements. There was no investment course requirements. I had to take courses about the history of vampirism in order to meet a foreign studies requirements. But I needed to so apparently in my college probably was more important for me to learn about Dracula than about investing. So like I said, the education system from a financial standpoint in the United States is there's a lot that needs to be improved on that aspect. How much of that is intentional? Who knows? There's definitely the conspiracy theory of if you taught high school kids about financial education in high school, would they be less willing to sign those large loans that in order to go to college if they were more aware of what they were actually signing up for? Uh, that's definitely it's very plausible. I mean, if you knew what a $50,000 loan, student loan, actually entails, I personally, I'd know I took out a lot of loans when I was going to college. I wound up paying them all them back, but I know I'd be much more cautious and make much different decisions if I knew back then what I know now. And unfortunately, all that education simply is not available in most high schools.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of that, I went to an all boys Catholic high school. I played baseball. We had a good team. I went to play JUCO baseball in St. Louis, and I had good grades, so I did it for free. And then I went to night school at WashU for 3 years and got the same degree at like a quarter of the price. I mean, because I was playing baseball, so that's what I wanted to do. I didn't really realize like what I was doing from a financial standpoint. But damn, I graduated with like 15,000 in student loan debt. That's it,
Yeah, that's
which is I'm
50,000.
thankful for. But
Yeah,
like, you're right. We need to be talking more about these kinds of things that you can get to your goal. You don't have to have a $30,000 a year, student loan degree. Like it's brutal.
Oh, someone from X is commenting. I don't know if I can reply to that, but that's a very interesting point. Education on the subject could keep young adults from getting the cards in the first place.
Hmm.
Yeah. My only thing was I was always like you were saying, Stan. I think more should be taught in school. I see it as being beneficial, but then I was also thinking like, who is going to be teaching these courses though, or classes, right? Like, do we want? I'm not saying they don't know anything, but is it better? Nothing against teachers, right? But they're in this system in a sense, right? So maybe their mindset and what they're going to be teaching is going to be veered toward this path almost of an employee in a sense, right? So that's where I kind of was like, maybe it's better they do not teach anything, and it's on the responsibility of the parents really to educate their children. Because honestly, I mean, I look back and remember my parents taught me basic things, but a lot of times they're busy doing their things, right? They're working and doing all these things. But if there was a more emphasis on money, then yeah. So that's kind of where now I started thinking like maybe or maybe you have a course outside, right? That's something someone can start a side business, right? Of educating
I
these
think
high school students, right?
even if teachers only teach how to become employees, there's still so many other skills that are important for an employee to learn. Something as simple as the importance of investing early in a 401k program. I mean, there's such a big difference between someone in their a 20-year-old beginning to contribute to their 401k versus someone who's 40 and just beginning to contribute to their 401k. And if the 40-year-old is putting in double the amount, they're still not going to catch up just because of that 20-year head start of compounding interest the 20-year-old has. So something as simple, like I think it's one of those things that people in the financial sector, we overlook how important compound interest is because for us it seems common sense, it seems very simple, but that's not knowledge that everyone has. So something as simple as that could be something that is taught in high school. Whether you're a business owner or an employee, just the knowledge of why it's beneficial to invest really could help a lot of people kind of
Yeah.
give them that jump start to begin investing as early as they possibly can.
All right, my man, janitor on fire is here. He finally saw this Batman picture I sent him, so that's why Batman really is everywhere. So it's kind of an inside joke, but he's like, where is it? I'm like, it's in your direct messages on Facebook. So it took him like 2 weeks to find it. But Jared had to bounce, but thanks for stopping by, Jared. But he did leave one last thing. So according to Dion, a lot of high schools receive funds for the amount of college applications submitted. So crazy, right? So it's kind of like you said, right? It's kind of veered towards this path, right? So let's see what else. I saw
Do
another
you
good
do you know
comment.
who Mandy is?
Yes, Mandy is in Pittsburgh. Why?
Oh,
I
I just
gave her a
she
shout out.
commented, but I just okay. I guess I missed
Yeah.
it.
So I met her. She's in the one rental at a time community, but she lives in Pittsburgh. She invests in Pittsburgh. Um, so yeah, you know me, man. I talk to
Cool.
anyone. So I reached out to her and we connected, and yeah, she's super cool, man. I'm hoping she gets to Vegas next year for the event. Oh, that's what I got to do too.
More peer pressure.
Yeah. So Stan and Joel will be there in Vegas next year wearing Crocs. And then oh, but yeah, so Zuber's thinking. So I forgot to comment back, but he mentioned Hawaii as another place to do an event. He's like, oh, now I put more on my plate. I had to
Oh,
comment, and he's like,
geez.
"Oh, where can we do it?" I'm like, "Oh man, I gotta do some work, I guess." It's like shit.
And I'm always
Um,
interested in going back to Hawaii.
well, you can plan it then. Let's see. Based on Trade Better 99. Based on the last talk about raising taxes, would it be worth higher taxes to pay for finance teachers? I believe is what. Hmm.
Wait, what is it?
Essentially, he's asking if the trade off for paying higher taxes would be worth it if that higher taxes go to funding financial education in primary schools.
Hmm.
I, I'm not sure if additional tax is really required. It's just adding an additional topic to an array existing curriculum. But depending on what the
Yeah.
taxes are, I think it could be a decent, like a fair trade-off if it's done efficiently.
I think.
My yeah,
I
sorry,
think
go ahead.
like because Mark, I think your point was like to have somebody in that knows the game that can explain the game. Having a teacher that's in the system isn't going to be the one that's going to be able to teach it properly.
That's kind of what I'm leaning towards now. Like I definitely think there should be education on it, right? But now that I'm thinking about it, it's kind of like, does it make the most sense for someone kind of in this system, right? Now maybe a private school, right? Because private schools have different, they don't have to follow the same curriculum, right? So maybe if you're in a public school, it might be a little bit different. But if you go to certain
Yeah.
private schools, they probably have more freedom to have a certain type of course, right? So that's where I'm thinking. Um, but we got Kobe's here. Oh, what's up, man? Yeah, so he's a EXP kind of influencer agent acquisition guy. So I gotta sit down and talk with him because I'm probably gonna bounce ship and jump to EXP soon. But yeah, Kobe's doing cool stuff. So go check it out. He interviews all different agents across the country, putting on a lot. I see him a lot on LinkedIn, but he's on LinkedIn, Facebook. But go check him out. He does some cool stuff out there. And I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, but Seven Picos Finance from X is here commenting. So thanks for stopping by. But let's see, he has a good. Let's see, I think that teaching school may not be enough. Young adults may need more focused, hands-on core. Yeah, parents will easily spend $100 to have personal trainer for soccer. Will likely balk at spending this. Yeah, that's very true. Very, very true.
That's definitely a very excellent point.
I
I
spent
think
I
that
spent
network.
$200 on breakdancing.
I think luckily right now there's at least more sources than when I was growing up. Like I grew up before YouTube, before social media, so there was not as many ways to really get content out there to a mass audience. But now between even things that we take for granted now, like YouTube, TikTok, at least like I'm not saying TikTok's the best place to go for financial advice, but at least it gives you a couple of seconds worth of content, which is better than nothing at all. So there's more sources where you can give kids a more of an education outside the classroom on financial like topics. So, and luckily, a lot of that content is free on YouTube. There's so many podcasts out there. There's so many topics out there. So many content creators that are putting really great content like this channel. That the entire goal is just to teach people various aspects that they're not being taught elsewhere.
Totally agree. So anyone else too that's been on in my live or watching my lives recently, can you guys comment how you think this one is streaming? So I'm using Restream today. The past few I was using StreamYard. So if anyone's here that has seen, can you guys comment and see if you notice a difference? Or I think Restream seems to be working better or a lot cleaner. But yeah, if you're here, comment, let me know. But yeah, I totally agree, Stan. I mean, there's just so much tools out there, right? Like you're saying, right? I mean, nothing wrong with what Dave Ramsey or Suze Orman, their message, right? And it might fit a lot of people's lifestyle, but you just have to do more, right? You can't just like you say, just go to school every day and just kind of fall into the rat race and think that putting money in a savings account is gonna work for you, right? So it's kind of you do got to put yourself out there and educate yourself a little bit. And Yeah, whether you follow the Dave Ramsey method or Suze Orman or Kiyosaki or someone, but it's just finding someone to kind of help you think differently. I think that's super important.
I definitely agree with that, and I definitely like I we need employees. I think employee, if that's the route you want to go, that's a great route. I just you have to make sure you're taking other steps to help yourself in the future. So if your work has a 401k program, contribute to it right away. If your work doesn't have a 401k program, take it upon yourself to open up your own IRA account, or take it upon yourself to open up your own investment account. Then just simply start putting money to the side to invest. A lot of it does come down to personal responsibility. I know for retirement, there's a big debate between pensions versus 401ks. It definitely seems like pensions are becoming rare and rarer, and 401k is becoming the new norm. Personally, I think that's probably a good. Like, I personally enjoy 401ks. It's pensions are great if you can get them, but with 401k, that money is yours. That money is set aside, and that is your money. If you are not able to spend it all before you pass away in retirement, that is still money. That's an asset that you can now hand off to someone else. That's something that you can pass down through inheritance. So that's an asset that you are building. That's another asset you are acquiring. So just like it takes more personal accountability because it's now on you to contribute to that 401k. But I think if done properly, a 401k is an amazing asset to be able to have the opportunity you have and to build.
So we have Trey Better 99. Always coming up with I can't wait for his channel to come out. But he's wrong one. Where was his other Hey, wait a minute. Where did his other comment go? Oh, there
The
it
more
is.
about favorite finance books,
Yeah, it hasn't popped up on this side yet. Yeah, but I can't share it. It's not showing up on this side yet. Huh. It's not showing up on, but yeah, he's asking any favorite finance books that you read.
so many of them. You can go down to the basics, Rich Dad Poor Dad. The first one I read, and it's not going to give you step by step directions, but it's going to give you a great alternate way to think about money and think about financing. So for someone that's just getting into that realm, Rich Dad Poor Dad, that's the reason it's a bestseller. It's well written. It trains your mind to think a little bit differently about money, about assets. So that probably be the first book I'd recommend to people that first are starting off.
Oh, yep. Psychology of Money is a good one. Wonder why his comments not showing up on this thing. Yes, a TB99 channel. Oh, Trade Better. Okay, I was like, what? Yeah, I don't know where his stuff's not showing up on this side. Joe Farrell. Oh, what'd you send me? Oh, this is a
Ah,
great book. I don't know how to share it though. Strive for
yeah, I
25. Anyone can
put
become
it
a millionaire.
I
Go
put it
check it
in
out
the
on
wrong
Amazon.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you sent me a private one. But go check out Joe. He has a cool book too, man. Anyone can be a millionaire. Psychology of Money is a good one. Um, so Jason, yep, thanks Jason for he said this one is for sure streaming better. Thanks, man. That's what I thought. So I have a feeling Restream is the original and StreamYard has copied their format or their system because everything is the same setup when I go into it. But definitely it does seem like Restream is a lot cleaner. And I don't know if you're still here, Jason, but like, so Matt, the mortgage guy, has commented, right? He's going to stop his streaming live for now on YouTube and stuff. But he was having issues too. And yeah, he was using the same streaming software. So I think it's there is not up to par yet, the StreamYard. Um, it's, I guess you can say it's finance, but just honestly, the Richest Man in Babylon was just a great, easy read, and it just puts your mindset like in a different place, right? And I think for me, yeah, that like I said, that it's an easy read. I think it's something that my son will be able to kind of just enjoy too. It's kind of a quick, simple read, so I really enjoyed that one. Oh, are you gonna speak for the audiobook, Joel? Trade Better 99 asks.
I haven't gotten that far. I mean, I'm not opposed to it. I just haven't done it.
Well, you definitely have the voice for it, or voice for radio, right? Or what? Face for radio.
Face for radio. Yeah. You got the voice for TV.
But yeah, so oh, I don't know, Joe. So what did you go under contract? You said in your Florida, or did you had offers? You said in Florida.
Yeah. I got a cash offer. Yeah.
Well, that's right. That's right. Cash
Yeah.
offer.
I mean, yeah. It's kind of just all came together. The right person who knew the neighborhood, etc. So yeah, yeah. I mean, I
Cool.
haven't really talked about it, but yeah, we're going through some personal stuff, some separation of marriage. So yeah,
I didn't mean for you to throw that out there on live, but it's
I mean,
up
it's
to you,
okay.
man.
It is what it is. I mean, it's just part of life. But yeah, but that goes into real estate, right? Like shit happens that you don't always expect, and you have to just deal with the consequences. And not every deal is going to work out perfectly. But kind of going back to the things that you talked about many times, Mark, it's like it takes 5 years sometimes to be able to see the fruits of your labor. Real estate is such a slow game,
Mhm.
and just weathering the storm to get there with the power of compounding, as you said, Stan. You know, it
You
just
know,
takes time.
the hard part I see is people don't quite understand. You know, like when they talk about, right, you're trying to plant a tree, I guess, or you plant the seeds, and it's like you want it to grow, right? But there's so much people around you that are wanting you to almost like cut the tree early. Oh, like why are you not doing this? Why are you not celebrating this success? Or and you're like, well, the tree's not fully grown yet, right? Like you know, you don't want to start um, taking things from the tree now when it's not where you want it to be, right? And I think that's what people at work or people around me are always kind of like, oh, why don't you take some time to do this or this? And yeah, you do need time for yourself. But at the same time, it's like I don't. I'm trying to grow something. I need it to grow, right? And I don't want to do anything that's going to slow down the progress. And yeah, so it's a struggle sometimes. But
Well,
Stan, I don't know. He's traveling all over the place. His trees is growing. I guess he's where he wants to be.
There's, I always have goals I want to meet like 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 5 years from now. So I think just having that long term vision is really important because the best analogy I always come up with is people that are going to the gym to work out. If you go to a gym one day, you're going to make your life hard for that day. I mean, it's much harder to get off the couch and go to the gym and run for an hour is much harder than sitting on your couch and watching another episode of Netflix. One's far more comfortable, but if you do the other one consistently, you're going to have much different results a year down the road. It's just a matter of do you want to make that consistent effort long enough to see that result in a year or two, or do you want to follow this other path that's easier in the short term, but maybe it's not going to have the same benefit in the long term? So it's about do you want to make your life harder now but easier later, or do you want to have an easier life now but it might come with more difficulties down the road?
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, to add on to that, right? Like, you know, in my world, I talk to people every day who want to purchase a home but just aren't ready, whether it be credit scores aren't there or they don't have enough money saved. And you look back at, okay, well, this month you saved $200 a month. This month you didn't. What did you do differently, et cetera? But saving $200 a month for a certain person could be a massive win, to be able to build off of. And sometimes we don't cherish or don't recognize those things and kind of maybe get off course because we don't realize that we actually are on potentially the right path, just need more time. And I think looking back on my own personal journey and, buying a couple properties in 09 and then 13 and then, on and forth, I never had a mentor. And so it's like, if I would have had a group or a mentor to remind me, yeah, you are doing the right things. You are going down the right path, even though you don't necessarily tangibly see the results that you may want to see, recognize those little wins and springboard off of them. And so I think finding the right group, the right YouTube channel, the right chats, like just to be able to keep reminding yourself, yeah, you're on the right path. I think it's just so undervalued.
I definitely agree with that. Having the right people around you, whether it's YouTube, mentorships. My personal advice, specifically on the real estate side, is There's so many real estate investment associations. There's so many chapters all around the country. There's so many meetup groups. Just anyone's interested in real estate, go to those groups. Like, you will meet so many contacts just by attending. You'll meet realtors, you'll meet general contractors, insurers, financiers, and they're all knowledgeable about that local market. Like real estate, it's very, very localized. I can't use the same strategies in New Orleans that I would use in San Francisco. Like, I need to make different adjustments, look for different kind of properties, be more aware of what is happening in that individual market. Having a network around you that's got their finger on the pulse of that specific market in real estate is such a, there's no way to overstate how crucial an advantage that is. And you can gain all those advantages simply by going out, meeting people, and talking, learning from them, doing what you can.
Yeah, so anyone also, who's in the comments or still watching, like Zuber's school community that he's offering right now is $20 a month. But it's an amazing community. You get access to different millionaires every week, basically different speakers. Like Stan said, right? There's everyone has a different strategy. So you have people that are more, have like CPAs coming on talking about taxes. You have social media people, content creators coming on talking about how to improve your social media. So a big thing, one guy was talking about like YouTube. He really thinks like unedited videos are going to be big because so much people are using AI now that is kind of getting oversaturated with AI type videos. And he thinks the unedited videos are going to be kind of a big thing in the next few years. So, just start doing something out there, right? But Joe got to go in about 10, 15 minutes, and that's actually perfect because I got to get my son up for school.
Yeah. Well, Mark,
yeah.
you mentioned unedited videos, right? I mean, here we are on a YouTube channel doing a live, and there's anywhere from 4 to 18 people on this live consistently.
You couldn't have
And
just said like 400 or 500. You just said four or.
I mean, we're not using the metric system here. We're using American numbers. But it's like building that community, putting the content out there, but engaging and connecting with people in the community and building a community. I mean, that's such a undervalued skill as well. And so today we're at this level, but in a year or 2 or 5, by putting in all the work and all the dedication, all the the doubts that someone may have, oh, is it really worth all this time? And then you fast forward the clock, who knows where this channel gets to. Same thing with real estate, like power of compounding. There's a Gary Keller book, and I can't think of the name of it. And I forget the exact verbiage, but the analogy that I use from reading that book is like $10,000 you put it into the stock market. Let's say you get 10% return in the first year. Cool. That's $1,000 in return. Or you go buy a $300,000 property. Let's say you put 3% down. So you use your 10K for a down payment and you get a meager 3% of appreciation on that house. And I asked that question to maybe a newbie client, and which one which one's going to have a better return? And they always want to say the 10% number, but it's like you're buying an asset for $300,000. So 300,000 times 3% is $9,000. So do you want $9,000 or $1,000? And then it starts to click in for people of the power of real estate. And so anyway.
Yeah. So BuzzTune has a great question. Can you all talk about the 5 years of suck? So, like Dion, Zuber, Lumberjack Lana, they always talk, like the first 5 years are going to suck, right? So what was your timeline for that? And was everyone's different? So.
I don't think I would ever say I had 5 years of sucking. I mean, I don't even have my first 5 years, so I guess I can't really say much about what happens after that 5 year mark. But for me, I wouldn't really say it's been a bad 5 years. Like, I'm getting returns, I'm getting cash flow, but it's not substantial. It's not any kind of money I can retire off of right now if I wanted to. It's a very, very nice supplement, and I know that it's going to grow down the road in the next 5-10 years. But it's more of a matter of, okay, I am putting in a lot more work now than if I don't have the real estate, I can go home after work, don't have to worry about anything, don't have to worry about maintenance, don't have to worry about additional calls, don't have to worry about all these ducks being in a row. It's more about the okay, I do need to put in substantially amount of work in order to. I do need to put in as much or more work than I do in my regular job, but the cash flow I'm getting from the real estate is not on the same level as what I'm making on a salary at my normal W-2 job. So I guess for me, it's just there's an imbalance at the moment between the effort and the financial return. So I guess for me, that would be the closest equivalent to quote unquote the suck as I can come up with, where it's not bad. It's just I know it's going to get better later.
Yeah, same thing. I mean, it's like you're saying, it's not, I wouldn't say it sucks. It's just probably not, I thought it was going to be a lot smoother or a lot, things are going to grow a lot quicker. And, it's one of those things where you're constantly learning, right? It's not just, like I always tell people, kind of once you get your first property, that's kind of the easiest part actually, right? Now you're trying to figure out how to be a landlord, how to be a bookkeeper, how to do taxes, how to manage your manager. How are you able to prepare for the next property? So, for me, I think it's being in these type of groups. And so Jason is still here, and he's awesome. And I know his situation. He had a lot of doubt. Probably getting into real estate. There's a lot of stress or fears for him. But just being around this type of community really helped him kind of see blind spots, or even help prepare him or alleviate a lot of those fears. And yeah, still getting the property. He has fears behind it, but now he has access to all these people that he can pick their brain on, oh, how did you handle this situation? Or how can I prepare for this? Or what can make the transition a lot smoother? Because there's no way to eliminate, you never gonna know what's gonna happen, but there's probably someone that may have gone through it. But I think that's why it's so important to be in these circles, because it just helps you, kind of alleviate some of those fears. And let's see, PE turned RE. I'm 2 years in, and maybe suck isn't the right term, but definitely uncomfortable. Yeah. So that's kind of what I'm saying, right? It's not necessarily suck, but I like Stan, like you said, I think I thought maybe it was going to be just, the ball is going to be rolling, all this income, this cash is going to be flowing in, right? But there's a lot of things to learn, even like bookkeeping, right? I've probably gone through maybe a couple of different systems. I'm still trying to find the right one that's going to work best for me, right? And that's part of it, right? You're kind of work through your system to make things more efficiently. But once that 5 years comes up, I think you'll have a lot of systems in place to be efficient and effective. And that's when things are going to start snowballing. But definitely, I think, yeah, like PE says, uncomfortable, I think might be a better way than suck. Yeah.
I definitely agree with that. Uh, for me, since I'm also on the short-term rental market with Airbnb, that's a like when I first showed up, I had like big wide eyes, going, "Okay, well, this is the average occupancy. If I can get this rate at this occupancy, wow, I can retire in a year or two." But then you start getting into it, it's like, oh, okay, so there's a lot of competition out there. So it's not a case of I open the property and I start getting bookings the next day that's going to fill up my entire calendar for the year. It's okay, I need to build up this brand, I need to build up the entire property, I need to give people a reason to pick my property over other properties. It's been getting close to 2 years of doing that now, and yeah, the occupancy is growing, we are getting more and more bookings. It's definitely on an upward trajectory, but it's not as fast as I was expecting it to be, but it's still definitely growing. I can definitely see a more and more potential as we keep doing it, but it takes time. I, so yeah, I definitely agree with a lot of the statements that you were talking about, where it's not as fast as you initially thought it might have been, but it's still growing, and it's just about consistently working on it, consistently improving, like not resting on laurels. It's like, okay, well, this month was great. Now let's see what else we can do to improve our marketing, improve the property itself. What else we can do to attract even more people the following month, and see how we can constantly keep improving. And if you have that mindset of constantly wanting to improve, I think the growth does continue to climb as long as you keep putting in that work.
Yeah, I think that's a great point too. Like even who you follow, right? Because there's a lot of social media people out there that are gonna be like, oh yeah, all you got to do is start an Airbnb and you're going to be rolling in money, right? But there's a lot of circles, like I said, like Zuber, Dion, Lumberjack, Mike Millennial, Mike, all these guys just going to tell you, oh, hold on, man. Those first few years, there's a struggle there, right? And it prepares you for that. So it's also who you follow and who you're listening to. But Jared, he's not here. He had to bounce, but he makes a great point, and he always talks about it. So like I mentioned, he's doing rent by the room, but he knows it's a lot more work. It's a lot more hassle, but he's trying to generate as much cash flow right now to reinvest so that in a few years, everything is a lot more passive for him. But like you said, he's doing the suck now or the uncomfortable now, you know, doing more work, rent by the room, but hopefully down the road, it just allows him to acquire more assets. And now he has more assets paying for his lifestyle. But
It,
yeah, we got about 5 more minutes. So if anyone got one, maybe one more last question, pop it in the comments. I don't see any smash or pass on Crocs. I'm gonna take that as all smash. So we're gonna have a big army in Vegas, uh, walking around doing some interviews and on the strip. But yeah, PE turned RE. I don't know. Were you in Vegas? I'm not sure if I got a chance to meet you. I see all your videos with Dion, but I'm not sure if you made it to Vegas.
One thing I want to just throw out there is that, uh, rates right now, whether it be a residential buyer or even a commercial buyer, rates obviously I think are pushing people off the fence to just wait. And speaking of time, I've got somebody that I'm working with that's got a pretty big portfolio of a mix of multi and single and strip centers and properties that are paid off, and he's because he's got so much equity, he can pull some cash out, go make a cash offer on another property, and talking about commercial rates in the upper sixes because of the amount of equity versus if you put 20, 25, 30% down, you're going to be in the sevens or eights for sure. But having that equity and that experience and the time, it's like, okay, you can get a rates in the six, at the bottom of the range, and hit the ground running on the numbers cash flowing for you. So it's just another thing that time opens up more doors.
All right, so Janitor on Fire, the smash or pass was a hit. Yeah, I liked it. I didn't want to do it two in 1 week. So I think I'm gonna do smash or pass at least once a week. So Stan, I don't know if you saw, but it was kind of like a game show style. We had a couple main topics, smash or pass.
okay.
And then it was like, yeah. So, and then people started putting in a whole bunch of smash or pass stuff in the comments. So it was fun. But next time I want to be a little more prepared, and you got to have like signs so each of you got to make your own sign so that everyone has to raise it at the same time. So no one can know what the other person's going to say first. So it's going to have the question or smash or pass, and everyone has to raise so then we can see who has a different thought on it or whatnot. But
That sounds
yeah,
fun.
Buzz, yeah, it was fun. It was fun. I got a lot of comments, but Buzz Tune, I look forward to when this group all starts retiring early. What are the Doomers gonna do with all those receipts? Yeah, PE turn. That's what I thought. Yeah, so he wasn't in Vegas. He wasn't in Vegas this past year, but he'll be there next year. Cool, man. Can't wait to meet you, man. Um, okay, this will be the last one. Maybe this is for you then, Joel. The final one. It's about rates. Will rates go double digits next year for What is for you? For residential, Joel. All right.
Um, so in my newsletter, Mark,
You
that
the
I
one that
sent
got
you
four of them? I got
eight
like eight
times.
newsletters from you.
So did you read any of them though?
I didn't get to it yet.
He
Well,
skimmed.
I did it was a fact or fiction with three different kind of topics. The bottom one was what are rates going to do in 2025, and my response was kind of going back to Mark's live that we did I think on Tuesday, and my answer was it's a clown question, and it's tongue in cheek because we need to be prepared and working to be able to run numbers based on where we are today and not be making any decisions based on what we think rates are going to do in the future. So if you buy a property today and rates are 7%, and you're hoping that the rates will be better to make the numbers work, you should probably just pass. So what rates do, who knows? And it doesn't really matter because when things adjust like that, opportunities will come, and being aware of what the opportunities may be if rates go up or go down, that's important. But guessing what the rates are going to do, I have no idea. I mean, I have my own opinions. I mean, it would make sense that they would go down at some point, but down could be a 0.25%, down could be a 2%. Who knows?
Cool. Great way to end it. But so Stan, when's your channel coming out?
Hopefully soon. I'm talking with my partner later on tonight. Uh, he's the president of the New Orleans Real Estate Investors Association, so we're collaborating on the channel together. So hopefully we'll have some updates soon about when we can actually get together and start making content.
Cool. Yeah, get together with Matt and Ned, man. They're starting to do some
Absolutely.
stuff, some live content. So go check it out. And if you missed it, everyone, Matt was wearing his Mojo Mindset gear from Homes and Hustles, his new shirt. So go check it out. But Joel, and don't send Joel your email because you're gonna get like 10
Yeah,
newsletters from him.
10, 12, 34.
But all
Excellent.
right, fellas, thanks for doing this, and we'll be back next week. Thanks,
Hey,
fellas.
y'all. Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.